What's going on, everybody? Riddle's here back again. This is the Riddle Me This podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's video. As always, it's greatly appreciated. By the title of this video, you already know I'm going to be giving my thoughts and my review on the new Rydas album, which was just released yesterday, January 9th, 2020. 12 tracks. For the most part, from what I can tell, all jacked beats. There's some beats on here I don't recognize right off, so I mean I'm not totally sure. They might have thrown some originals in there. I don't know. Maybe somebody can, in the comments can kind of help me out with that if all possible. I did not pre-order this album or purchase this album in any way. Yesterday, when the album official release date of Twisted uploaded the album into a playlist on their official YouTube channel. So that's how I went about hearing it, and I'm sure there was others as well. That's how they went about hearing it. I want to say this right off the bat, and this is my opinion, and nobody can take my opinion away from me. Twisted lacks any capability, or it seems that they lack any capability to be original with their own ideas and their own concepts for their label. They've stated before that they wanted to step out of the shadow of Psychopathic Records and ICP and have their own identity, their own sound, their own ideas, their own concepts, etc. But yet here they are in 2020 rehashing the Rydas and Lotus as well. These were groups and concepts on Psychopathic that were pretty much, thrown to the wayside when Twisted left Psychopathic several years ago. And then the whole thing with Young Wicked, right before he left, pretty much finished it off. It killed it. But here we are in 2020, and Twisted and Magic Ninja are trying to revive both of these groups in their own way, in their own image, however you want to put it. And they have to understand, if they're going to do that, the entire Juggalo world as a whole is not going to take it well or perceive it well. You're going to have people that like it and people that don't. And that's just the way it is. Secondly, here's one of my major gripes with this album is, who are the Rydas on this album? Who are the Rydas in this particular lineup? In this particular revival or incarnation of this group on Magic Ninja in 2020. It just seems like they took pretty much every member of the M&E roster, which actually there are a couple of voices on this album that I don't quite recognize right away. I'm just not picking it up. Again, maybe somebody in the comments can help me out with that. But it's just like they took pretty much every member of the M&E roster and put them on this album and said, okay, you're a member of this group, you're a member of the Rydas now. And I'm not saying that every member of the roster is featured on every song on here. That's not the case. Otherwise you'd have extremely long, possibly painful songs to have to listen to. But that's not the case. I mean, they're all scattered about throughout the 12 tracks. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to hear some new voices, in this particular incarnation of the group. You've got Gmo, you've got Alazul Elu, King Gordy, Young Wicked, Buckshot, Class was on here. Um, so I mean, yeah, that's nice and it's refreshing, but they could have just very easily, you know, went with the old school lineup of Lil Shank, Cell Block, Young Dirt, Fofo, and maybe put in, maybe r.o.c. Under whatever alias, and that would have been a great Rydas lineup right there. Um, but they had to throw every member of the label, the roster on here, and first couple of listens for me, it just made it into a very confusing clusterfuck of a listening experience for me. That's just me, my opinion once again. But that's not to say that there's not some good stuff on this album, because there is, and I'm going to get to that. Also, there was a lot of people saying that on this album there was a lot of low-key dissing towards Psychopathic and ICP. There was no names dropped or anything like that, obviously, but I don't think that's the case, and I'll tell you why as we get further into this video. But like I said, there were some great tracks on this album. Ain't Calling You Gangsta, which was the first single that was released for this project when the announcement was made for the project. I hated this song at first. I wasn't feeling it. But it's grown on me since. I'm feeling it. I'm liking it. It's a great song. Y'all Crew Ain't Nothing. Now, this was another one of those songs that people were saying was a diss towards Psychopathic. I don't think that was the case with this song, mainly because there was too many neutral parties in this song. You've got Blaze, you've got Boondocks, who, I don't really think want any part of any beef that, may or may not be going on. I just think they're neutral in that, and they don't want any part of that, or or really have any issue or problem with Psychopathic. At this time, King Gordy was also featured on that track, and it wasn't too long ago that he was on stage with Shaggy Two Dope at a concert. So I don't really look at that particular track as a diss towards Psychopathic or ICP in any way. 100% in my DNA, that was probably one of my top favorite songs on here. Love that one. We Violent was a good song. How to Ride a Ride, and Put That on Everything, the 8th and the 9th track on here. Those were two songs that after a couple of listens I really got into. Dump Dump. This kind of made me laugh and made me smile, just because they took the beat and the hook from Crisscross Jump Jump, and they just made it their own. Like, instead of in the hook where it says jump jump, they say dump dump, and it just, I don't know, it made me laugh. It made me smile. Now on to the sorry about that. On to the final track on this album, the 12th and final track, which was the longest track on this album, coming in at right around, I think, 7.5 minutes long, maybe a little bit under that. I'm Gonna Be a Ryder. Now, if you listen closely to this song, at the very end, Lil Shank, Jamie Madrox, in his verse on this song, he shouts out Psychopathic Psychopathic Records and the Psychopathic Rydas. by name, Bullet, Full Clip, shout out Converse, you know, and, you know, wishes them well, hopes they're doing well, and, you know, wishes them the best in what they're doing at the moment. So no, I don't think that there's any like low key dissing on here, just based on uh that last uh that last song alone. Um, do I think it's a couple, 2 or 3 years too late for them to possibly be extending an olive branch to psychopathic? Yes. Um, but you know, good on them, I guess. If they're trying to extend an olive branch and at least try to be cool with psychopathic and ICP again on some level, that's great. That's fine. But I just think it's a little too late. Um, but yeah, it's worth a listen. Um, I don't think I'll really be buying it, but it's definitely worth a listen. Um, I think it's fairly well put together. It's decent. So that's it for now, everybody. I'm Riddles. This is the Riddle Me This podcast. Go and check it out on Twisted YouTube. It's on there in a playlist. So I'm out. Peace. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.